Okay, all you devils, happy Friday. Here we are, the 30th here. So what time is it here for me? It's a little after 1 o'clock. Bitcoin, kind of simple view. No Elliott Wave, just swing structure. Can we learn anything from this? Is there anything we can know? Oh, I probably should have done this here. Let's wick off some critical. I've done the same thing here. Well, you can see it here. Just swing, retrace, swing, retrace, swing, retrace, swing, retrace. Right, nothing out of the ordinary. It's just a very clear uptrend. Now, so you'd look at it here. Okay, I've got, this is the adaptive trend. Oh, what do we call this thing? The adaptive trend finder. I have it on twice, one for the long term, one for the short term. Okay, I clearly burn an uptrend. So the question is, oh God, is it done? Is that the end of it? Okay, certainly possible. Is just in review of what we looked at last week. It's pretty much as you would anticipate, not what you know, but what you'd anticipate. We had a break of structure here. Right. What do we anticipate after a break of structure? I say this every week. Now, what do we know? What do we anticipate? Retrace. Okay, well, so it has begun. Now, how deep? How far? Well, that's where the Elliott wave can be useful to us. Certainly, one possibility is that we've got, this here, if I just do it simply, we've got a completed impulse, right? It's very, very reasonable thought. Right? We guarantee this will be much discussed amongst Elliottians here. There are a couple of different ways to count this. This is perfectly valid here. Now, okay, wait a second, though. We just broke the structure here. And we did it in a way that certainly it would appear to be impulsive, right? Coming off of the low here at 75 up to our new all-time high. Certainly looks impulsive. So that would make you rethink this, going, oh, okay, well, I guess that wasn't the top. So does that mean we're going up here and this is just a 1-2 and we're going to have some extension here? Certainly possible. The other possibilities here is, again, just kind of reviewing what we've looked at the last couple of weeks. Oh, you could do this a couple of different ways. Oh, let's see. We could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could do the 3, 4 here and go 1, 2. Well, so let's take this all up. Oh, this I would suspect, right? But much of what you all are struggling with. Okay, well, here in this particular case here, I'm just using the lowest low of the swing, right? Because I'm not really trying to get into some high-end Elliott wave here. This is tricky here, open to interpretation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring that down to something reasonable. And, let's go to here. How about white? 1, 2. Well, from this low, right? Again, algo doesn't care about our Elliott count. Swing low, swing high. We just a slight front run. Looks like prior resistance becoming support. We make a 50. Off we go. Break the high. So it's not rocket surgery. Okay, we got to swing. We got to retrace to the 50. We got to swing to get a new high. Now, we don't know. What would you anticipate? Where's the liquidity? Well, they grabbed this. Where are they likely to go, right? We know the algo likes to go from external to internal, right? So external now grabbed, working head our way down for internal, right? 50, right? We could, again, if this is a 1, 2, where would we anticipate it? There's right at the 200. We're going to go 3, 4, 5. I can get that off of there. Oops. These things are easy to grab. Well, pardon me. That would be 3, 4, 5 going up. Jesus, God. You can't touch those things or you're going to move them. Okay, so is that what we're looking at? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3, 4, 1 extension in the 5th. Do we have to rethink the whole thing here? Put the 3 here. I don't think we need to go there yet, right? So right now it's okay. We're going to extend in the 5th. Oh, I guess we could do it this way. All right, this is until we start to make a deeper correction. This is going to stay. Pick your poison. Well, maybe poison the wrong way to look at it, considering where we've gone here. But pick your labeling, right? There's no way to be definitive about it, right? Until we see what comes off of this. Which is why I'm kind of loosely applying Elliott here. Rather, when in doubt, okay, how can we simplify this? What's the last thing we see? Impulse, retrace, impulse, with a break of structure, retrace, right? This was an impulse with a break of structure, retrace. Again, just what does the market usually do? Where is it going to find liquidity? Already grabbed this. Likely to be heading down. Now, do we have to come down here to 91? No. We say this every week. Market's under no obligation to do anything ever. It's going to do what it's going to do. We're just here trying to apply, 97 years of precedent. What does it usually do? Okay, swing, impulsive swing. Now, the short term here, that's 2 standard deviations on either side. We're breaking that channel. Where's the next pool of liquidity? Right here, right? We got an inverse fair value gap. We got 200 here. We got another fair value gap at the 50 of the golden zone. So I'm not saying we're coming down here. It's just I wouldn't be sad if we did, right? For the opportunity to buy it down here. If this is going to be extending and that's the impulse, this is the retrace, oh, I sure want to be there for that. I suspect you would too. Now, do we know that's coming? No, well, no. But so far, it's just rudimentary, basic, sweep the high, grab the liquidity. Next up, internal liquidity. Let's go over to the Elliott count here with a little more detail here. Again, I'm focusing entirely on the movement down here on the assumption we have a completed impulse here. All right, so as we work our way down, and this gets, it's a little tricky here. Oh, let me pull that off here just to clean it up a bit for our Elliott look. Looks like we can do it. We've got the makings here of a zigzag. So we've got 5 down, a candidate, right? This is a little tricky up here because the highest closes here we got a lot of wick structure up here. But you can certainly make a strong case for a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a clear impulse to finish it, right? Nice clean impulse to finish the candidate for an A wave. Well, look, we sure got an impulse coming off of that, but then we get a 3, and then we get another impulse, right? So the ABC here for the B, right? We're coming right into mitigate that imbalance, right? Again, just pretty standard market price action. Mitigate that, and down we go, right? It looks like we can do this in another 5, clearly a 3. This gets a little funky here. It looks like we're coming down into a triangle. It looks like we got our 1, we got our 2, we've come down 3. It looks like A, B, C, D, E, and now we're heading down. So it looks like this is what we're working on right here. Looks like it, right? So if I dig in there, just to show you that a little bit, it looks like, let's try a 15. This gets a little tricky in here. It would be 3. A, B, C, D, E, candidate for the 4, and now we just waterfall down. Now, are we done? Well, I wouldn't assume that just yet, because look where we are. We're not even to the 23, right? From the swing structure that we were just looking at in terms of, whoa, where's the 50? Not at, wait, Jesus, way down here at 92 and change, right? 93 and change. So if we're going to come down here, if we were finished here, I would suspect a completed, suspect being the key word, that we've yet to make the 23. So if we complete an ABC, if we complete a zigzag here, my first thought would be W. And the X, then the Y, so we get a more typical, deeper retracement down here in 90, 91, 92, 93, somewhere in that range. The 90s, the low 90s, somewhere in that pocket. So how would we get here, right? So a couple of things to note here. The market's been quite technical on this. First thing you'll notice here, which again, I review this. I'm not trying to show you hindsight trading. I'm just, because this is something we talk about. I mean, literally, it's in the middle of my logo. Right, here's your 80% right there. Right, once we get the pivot, right now you get to look at here. Well, but wait, that could have been it. Once we get the pivot, right, as long as this pivot holds, 80% odds we get there, and we literally to the tick retrace. Now, remember that 80% is a one-time odds, right? So we're no longer doing it. Now, you could draw another one there, but this 80% burned. Okay, so there's your just reminder, right? Say this all the time. It's most common technical tool it's in every trading package that's ever been created. Least used, highest percentage. Right. Correlation, you decide. Okay, right. So we get our 80%. We get the retrace, right? Doesn't quite make the outer parallel, but then we get what looks like an impulse, and again, it looks like a triangle here as we go into chop zone here, and then come out of it aggressively. Okay, could be done. Could also be the 1 of the 5, right? And the 5 is going to be lower. certainly a possibility. How are we going to know? Well, we're not going to know. What's it doing right now, right? We can literally, it's a lot of imbalance here, so we got to come back here, right? The market wants to balance out the imbalance here. So we have all of this displacement here, these big fair value gaps. Market's coming back in here. All right, what's the purpose of the market, right? Facilitate trade. Where can I find it here? Well, this is liquidity because there's an imbalance here. So it's reasonable to anticipate there are orders here that didn't get filled. So coming back to fill those orders. Invalidation, well, as we come up here, start heading towards some of these pivots, this is going to start to look rather ugly. Right now, with the, well, I'd probably mark this here, with the 4 proposed to be in, oh, that's fine. Here, with this is our E before we head down. Right now, is there any subdivision in that? Well, I'm on a 15-minute. No. That's just the latest tariff news. Straight down, retrace, right to the fair value gap. So looks like we're in the process of mitigating this little pocket right here. If that's a 1-2, what again, standard ops, what would we anticipate? Well, at least the 50. There we go. All right, we got some prior support potentially becoming resistance there. Again, market's going to do what it's going to do. I'm down to a 15, which the only time I like to go down, if you're doing Elliott Wave, below really you want to stay 60 and above. If you're coming down to the 15, and I say this all the time, it's just to clarify a count, right? You don't want to trade Elliott Wave down here. It's just too squirrely, too choppy. There's too much noise. You're redoing the counts all the time. Good Elliott Wave is always going to be 60 minutes or higher, in my opinion, qualifier. Okay, all right, so that said, okay, are we done? I don't know. It sure looks like a candidate for a 1-2 with a deeper 5. Now, if we take this back a little bit and say, well, wait a second, right? Let me try and put that in the context I was describing earlier. So I'm gonna hide that. Oh shit, can I do it? Hang on, I just want to hide it. Okay, all right, so over here I think I've got I got a channel on this. Okay, right. So we've got our channel coming down. Remember how the channel is so critical to Elliott Wave. Look where we pivot right here. Right? 1, 2, 3, triangle 4. Now, again, is it the 5? We don't know, right? It would be a kind of a skinny 5 if we're going to finish right here. Big 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I could see that, right? The extension is in the 1. 3 is just barely longer. Triangle 4, that's a little skinny for the 5, right? But so could be. I'm not saying buy it, sell it. I'm just saying as we read it right here, I think it's too soon to make a call here. Let's see what happens at this 50. Let me go back to a 60-minute. Let's see what happens here as we hold this 50. Because again, as I was suggesting earlier, we're not even to the 23. Just not to be overly redundant, but that doesn't mean we couldn't be done here and we're off. We're 10,000 points higher next week, or dollars, I should say. It's not what I'm saying. I'm kind of tracking this on the way down. Now, again, that tariff news today. Okay, the market overreacts, recovers. That's what's happening here. Is that what's happening here? Don't know. The question you always have to ask yourself is, okay, is there a setup here? Is there a trade here that would give me some sort of an edge? I would propose not. Not yet, right? We're just barely getting started here. If we're coming down here, there's a lot to develop here. So the thought being, as I've drawn it, there would be a WXY at a minimum. We're just working on the W. X to come, Y, and then perhaps we can go. So we shall see, right? Again, I love it when, Friday midday rolls around here. I can tee something up. It's like ripe for the buy at that moment, but that rarely does that happen. Right? If you're selective about what you're trading and you're working off of higher time frames, it can be a long wait for the setup. Right? That's what kills most people. They can't wait. I got to do something. I'm a trader. I got to do something. I got to be in the market. No, you don't. That's your own misunderstanding of trading, right? Not being in the market is a trading decision. And the Jones for dopamine, right? I mean, we all deal with it, right? It's not. That's just human, right? It's going to be there, right? The pursuit of that dopamine buzz is certainly a siren's call. Okay, all right. So that's probably enough on Bitcoin. Oh shit, I'm done 15 minutes on Bitcoin, right? Well, there's not much to. It's okay, great, right? We got a new high. We broke the structure. Okay, we'll retrace now. All right, hurry up and wait. Now, understand, we could easily do this. I'm not saying we're not going to do that. I'm just saying I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to buy it here. I'm going to wait for something deeper. Make your own trading decision, right? Based on the methodology that we teach, this is not ripe yet. It's too soon. Yeah, but that's up to you, right? You apply methodology. If you see something here that you feel good about, take it, right? Don't let me influence it. It's kind of a shit show anywhere here before we get off of Bitcoin here. This is, we've had all, this is the ETF flow. It's good today, pardon me, that was yesterday. We don't have today's numbers yet. So yesterday start to fall off, as you see with price rollover here, Bitcoin's price. Some outflow on the ETFs. Is that a bad sign? Well, it's not like it hadn't happened before. That's a pretty good exit yesterday. We'll see where that goes. Okay, all right. So that's probably enough on Bitcoin. We'll let this finish this impulse that it's in now, and then see what comes off of it. Okay, with that, so let me hang on one second. Okay, going over to the alts. I don't see a lot that I love here. Again, it's kind of the same scenario here. Solana and SUI, right? Two very strong contenders to be a huge part of the future crypto infrastructure here of finance. Okay, clear impulse. It's hard to miss that. 3 to correct it. Well, let's go to a 4 here. So something completed, correction. We didn't quite make the 50. Again, market's not obligated to get there, but we sure get a clean impulse coming off of it. So again, we're in a hurry up and wait here. So this is, in a way, this is, right? We all want it to go like, fuck, hurry up, come on, god damn, could we get rich already? I understand that mentality and that tendency to say, God, why is it taking so long? I've had this Lambo catalog in my office for 2 years. This is where you have to maintain discipline, right? Because if you don't and you just go, fuck, I'm buying it. What are you trading? The whims of your impulses? You have a system there, a method, something that requires your discipline, or do you just go with whatever feel? If you can do that and make money, good for you. I'm just saying, if you're implementing a discipline of waiting for the right set, whether it's our methodology or not, right? I don't see a lot of opportunity here where we sit. Right? It looks to me like deeper retracements are going to be worth waiting for, my opinion. Okay, so there's SUI, same thing, right? We're just waiting for the 2. We got a completed impulse. Let's wait for the 2. What are we trying to do here? This is a big 1. This is the 2. If this is the next 1 and the next 2, oh, I got a big 3 coming. So I'll wait for that. Let's see what we're trying to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'll wait. I can be patient. Now, again, the market doesn't do this. We pause earlier here. We make it very shallow too. Of course, Bitcoin is notorious for that. Okay, again, market's not obligated to come down here. Just that would be, you could certainly understand why it would, right? Inverse fair value gap, right? It's a reasonable spot for reaction. Where's the liquidity now? It's below, right? External, internal, external, internal. That's what it likes to do. Leave that one there. You see my alerts at the 38 because if it's going to be shallow, I don't want to miss it. I want to be heads up when we get to the 38. I can see all the imbalance on the way up, right? The displacement. We got a partial here. I probably mitigated the first one, but I have more below. So I'm going to wait on that one. Okay, that's SUI. Solana, this is the bull count. Let's go over here. There are a couple alts that have let's get you out of here. There's a couple alts that have similar kind of a look here where it's like, oh God, is it a 1-2? Are we squishing the 1-2 in there? Well, God, it's hard not to count it this way because I've got a clean impulse here. Sideways, right? We stop progressing the trend. There's your 4, up for the 5. Okay, 3, looks like we're heading down for a 5. Golden from the top, right? Looks like a liquidity sweep ahead of it, maybe a little front run. Down for the C. A. Expand the B. Looks like 1, 2. Well, if I were to draw it, looks like we've got 1. My machine's acting a little funny today. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, do I get that? Well, look, of course, the A to the C, you know, it's way out of balance. So maybe we don't get that far. A, B, C. Let's measure that here just to see if that's even realistic. Easy to draw things. Let's take the length of that A. So it looks like you do a 3, 3, and we're going to expect a 5 here. Well, let's take just such little time to do it. A from the B. Okay, what's a reasonable spot here? 1618 would be pretty extreme for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to come down here. You got a big, well, you can obviously you can see that big. Oh, let's do just a big gray box right here. This big high volume node right here. So lots of liquidity likely to be tapped here. Could this be where we're headed? It would be shallow in the retrace. If this is complete, well, I know that's getting a little crowded in there. It's always easier when it's your stuff. Let me get that off. Okay, if we're going up here as the 5, right? And this is the AB. Well, let's get the full suite on there. Maybe we're going to do the 38 here. Again, market's not obligated to come down here. Where's POC? Right between the 50 and the golden zone. You can certainly see how that is an area that the market might be drawn to. I've got my alert here. I'm going to move that up, actually. Let's move it up to the 38. So same as it was with SUI, right? If we're going to have a shallow 2, which is certainly a possibility, considering the extension here. Give me a heads up, right? But right now, well, unless you're, I mean, I'm on a 4 hour, unless you want to trade the 4, which is reasonable. I don't love that 1, but 1, 2, looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 3's coming in. You want to trade the rally for the 4, the proposed rally for the 4 before we come down for the 5? Well, I'd certainly rather be a buyer here than a seller, even though that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, right. Let's just remember this, right? You don't know until you know. 1, 2. That could be the 1 of 3. 3, 4, 5. This could be one. Follow me. This could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3. Right, but now, all right, it could be, right? So all that's potential. Could be, but now look at the A, B, C, right? It's too far. It doesn't fit the right look. Not that it's not possible, but it looks like it's too much of a force fit. Oh, well, I want it to come down here. So, 1, 2, 1, 2. Don't you want it? It's tempting, right? It's easy to do. To fill it in your mind's eye. Let it show you what it's going to do. We don't want to guess. We want to go and say, okay, the completed impulse. Okay, well, that's not likely to be an extension here since we do it in a 3 and we roll over. Okay, so we can kind of get a handle on where this is likely going. But right now you wouldn't assume anything other than a candidate for the 3 is actually in. So we're going to retrace to the 4. Well, now I'm going to pay attention to that 1. I'm going to watch this for a 5. We're going to do this here and make it a shallow retrace since it's consistent with where the high volume is here. Maybe 1, 2. Well, you see what I'd be teeing up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's make that bigger just so it's easier to see, right? Is that what we're doing here? We're going to do the 2 here. 1, 2, shallow 2 at the 38. It's not like it doesn't happen. Or we're going to do the more typical and come down here to 132. That's a hurry up and wait for me, right? Same kind of thing, right? Believe me, I'd look for 90 minutes looking for stuff that was ripe today. And I couldn't find anything in crypto. Nothing at all. Okay, right. So that's SUI and Solana. Hang on here. I got a couple of just trad. Okay, I'm over here to the gold futures here. Some of you will trade the gold futures. Many of you may trade the GLD. It's just easier to read the market in the futures because you don't have all the gaps. So as we look here, I'm just going from this last swing low to the swing high where we've gone into this sideways ranging, and we're doing it in what appears to be a series of 3s. So we get the impulsive shot up to the new high here, and now we've gone into this corrective phase. Again, I've got an impulse up. I've got a correction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get a monster shot here, And now I'm in the midst of that retracement here. I just drew the volume profile for the whole thing. Well, it looks like I go A, this could be triangle, this could be, you know, somewhere this is the B in here. We're coming down here, that looks like the A. A, B, C gives me a B, because then I get an impulse. So I get a 3, 3, 5. And I get another 3. So I've got a candidate here for the W. Since this did not roll into an impulse, and now it looks like we've got a zigzag coming into it, it looks like it's WX coming down for A, B, and looking for the Y down here to maybe sweep that low. If this is going to come down, and we're same idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that to bring this down here. And then I think another opportunity to get long in gold. My machine's acting a little buggy. Okay, there we go. Well, right now we're just in this big range, so no particular advantage here. This probably account people aren't going to like, but I don't. If you're applying Elliott Wave here, I don't see a better solution. Impulse, correct? Not an impulse. Well, we have an impulse. All right, so your hand gets forced here, because it was certainly one possibility is go, oh, 1, 2, impulse 3, 4. Oh, overlap, right? So I can't go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And it's an impulse, so I can't turn it into a diag. So A, B, C is all that's left, right? That's the beauty of Elliott Wave, right? If not this, then that, and if not that, then this. Right? Nothing else has that. Okay, there you go. Right? Love it or hate it. Right? I propose to you with some application, some study, nothing better. Okay, so let me go from that over to let's here we look at the bonds here, because we got to pay attention to this, because this is going to be so influential as to where we're going to head as we consider the Fed and interest rate choices. Well, this is, we've looked at this many times here. So off of the proposed C coming down as a 5, right? So then I get another 5 here. So what I'm trying to do here, if this is the 1, right, we're seeking this 2 down here. That's all we're trying to do here, right? Clearly an impulse. A, B, C, A, B, C, WX. All right, let's get in there a little bit more on the 60 minutes and see if we can make sense of this, because we've had this double bottom down here. So if this is the X, right, it's a reasonable assumption here that we've gone WX, and we get what would appear we've got an impulse that's complete. So drawing it again, it looks like we've gone 1. Hard to argue with the impulses here. This looks like it could be a triangle, or it could be you've got a flat here with a bit of a truncation in the C. It could be D. It could be triangle, and then you're going to do a skinny. The 4 is somewhere in here. And then we go down here, and then we double bottom here. We get the little tweezer bottom here. Well, okay, you might have thought, oh, shit, are we done? Oh, is this going to be a 335? Oh, we're done? Oh, wait, no, guess what? No impulse comes off. Even this it's a bit of a stretch to call it an impulse, but I get this sideways 3 here. So I get an A, B. Looks like I'm going to go impulse here. So this is not out of character with what we've been tracking here with it. With our Elliott hats on. If that's an A wave is complete down here, we're seeking the B, which would imply the C to come to complete the W, X, Y. Now, of course, remember, right? Price down, rates up, which implies, right, that certainly there's plenty of fodder, right, for the potential for rates to stay where they are or continue to drift higher. If we're going down here, rates are going to go higher, and as rates go higher, then that becomes problematic for risk assets and for the equity markets, and likely there will be some intervention of some sort. And then what after that, what will prices do? Rally, and interest rates will come down. So there's a full path here. Now, do I know that? Spare me the comments, right? I do not know that that's what's coming. I'm just tracking what I'm seeing, and I'm applying Elliott Wave. Is this a B? Do I know that? No. I suppose it could turn. It could turn into a 1, 2, 3, 4. It could turn. You could certainly see a path where this would turn impulsive, and then we're up here, and then rates are down. I don't think the macro background doesn't seem to suggest that's the most likely path. So a little relief here after this impulse. We do this in a 3. There's plenty of ways to trade this without having to go into the bond futures, which is inexpensive way to participate, whether you're doing it in the futures or the options market. Still, right? The bond futures are going to be expensive. You can go over to the TLT. It's not as liquid. And, there's a trade-off here, but that certainly is a way to express that bias here. Maybe do it with less risk in expressing that bias. Okay, so there's, if I got everybody here, I think that was everything I wanted. Oh, 1 second there. Okay, let's take a quick peek at the S&P here. Market's it's all over the place today. We talked about this the last couple of weeks. There's a candidate for another 1-2 in here. I'm paying more attention to the count in blue, 1-2. If I need to come back for this 1-2, that's a very high class problem if you're a bull, because that means I got a whole new set. I got a 3, 4, 5, and it gets a little crazy up here. So we'll see, right, if that comes into play. But the rocking, the scream up here into this 1, I think there's no dispute about that. Impulse, correct. We got an impulse here, so 1-2, right? Much like Bitcoin, a surprisingly shallow 2. 1-2, no way around that impulse. 3. This looks a little surprising, like, oh God, do I have to do ABC, or it's a little tricky in there. So I'm you can see what I'm doing. The same. That shouldn't surprise you. Here's my low, right? Is this going to be a? See, it's tricky up here, right? Where am I starting? Because that looks like it's a 5. But it doesn't quite fit, right? So you'd have to look at it and go, God, do I have to do it here to finish this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. I mean, look what you're. Come on. I gotta reboot my machine. Something's up here. Looks like we're doing A, B, C. Doesn't feel right? It feels like you're forcing it because that's what you want to see. Well, okay, so is it, so we're doing some sort of sharp combo? That doesn't quite work. Is this A, B? Well, this looks impulsive. All right, so you're kind of left here going, I got to wait and see. Well, you could certainly make a case here for, okay, do I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? That's obviously too big. Let's get that down here. Do I have a 5 coming in? Is that what I've got here? 5? It's a little shaky. Deep enough retracement for a 1-2. So until proven otherwise, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of that's still to come. Let's get that up a degree. Oh, put it in blue, right? So we got a contender here. Down for a 2. Next week we launch. It's like we're just filling that gap here. Oh, you could probably, right, if we have a low here, 80%, right? 80% is 80%, right? There it is. I get it right, nice and tight on that. I might, if I was being more, I would encourage you to look both at the futures as well, so the gaps will be less problematic for you in terms of reading it. ABC, WXY, hard to call that. And that's not a great setup of median lines because it's so narrow. You like them to be a little deeper, a little bit lower here, but that there it is, right? You still have 80%. Caveat being, as I have to remind every week, as long as this pivot holds. If it doesn't make it, principle number 4, right? Equal to or greater than. If we get up here and get it, right, doesn't mean it has to pivot there. We could blow right through it. But the point is getting there. Because not getting there, right, that's trading principle number 4, equal to or greater than the swing that failed to get it. So to get there, well, if we got there right there, swept that high, what would you think? 1, 2, 1. If we start to retrace, right, well, if we're looking for a 3, again, these things are not optional. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Well, what would be the next 3? Let's take that up to the 3, 4, right? All of that still much to come. All right, so high class problems here. If you're in this, right, is this tradable? No, I don't know. On a Friday, I would take that. Kind of want to see, right, if this gets a revisit, we can get a golden corner down here. These days, a lot can happen over the weekend. So something like this, if this is going to roll over one more time, I don't know that it is. But I'm Well, my trads portfolio is kind of hedged right now. So, you know, on these ups and downs, I'm taking advantage a lot of the time decaying options, right? So that's just me. Okay, well, there we go. There's a few things to think about. We'll see if crypto starts to kick again. I've read some pretty prominent technicians very concerned about, that's the wrong way to phrase it. They're focused in on Bitcoin dominance stalling here, which would be good news for all of us, right? We'd like to see an alt season come. I looked at it. I looked at Bitcoin D. I looked at it over here. I didn't really get enough to... oh, shit. Here, now I try and do this at the last minute. Okay, maybe. That's a long push, but there's nothing here where I look at that. I do see that, there's a candidate for a fifth to a finished here, but, you know, trying to apply LE to this is kind of tricky. What are you going to do with all that? But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe. We'll see if that starts to come down. It's not bad news. I would not be discouraged about that. If we do start to come down, right, alts are going to soar, right? When alts soar, right, I think we all make some money. Okay, guys, with that, I'll wish you a good weekend. As always, right, you can always come over to TradeDevils.com. White Belt is free. You can get into the Discord. That's free. Then we have some, you want to get access to other channels. If you want to get into the belt system, all that stuff available to you, right? It's the same thing. Always, I do the same thing up here. Have been for the last 6 years, right? We're just applying a methodology, and that's what we teach, right? So if you want to develop these skills, apply them to the market, we can help you with that. Okay, guys, have a good weekend. I'll catch you next week.